And as always, when you hear that sound, it's a time for Patrick's Place, my podcast, coming to you live from Studio 62. And as always, you can subscribe to my podcast by typing in Patrick Henderson Jamaica or Patrick Henderson Radio on my YouTube channel. Keep the comments coming. I read them all. I subscribe to the First Amendment right of free speech. All ideas must contend, and the comments are really instructive. So it's time for the World Track and Field Championships, folks, and in between each day, it's 9 days of glorious action. This is the zenith of track and field. The World Championships only surpassed by the Olympic Games. Of course, the track and field portion of the Olympic Games organized by World Athletics. And so, just a quick review of what happened on day one for Jamaica and to look ahead to the women's and men's 100 meters semifinals. You've got to qualify before we can start talking about the finals of each event. But before that, let's give a massive shout out and congratulations to Samantha Hall. Samantha has qualified for the women's discus, and we have never had an athlete qualifying for the women's discus at the World Track and Field Championships or the Olympic Games. So kudos to her, 63.32 meters in her qualifying flight. She was sixth in Group B and 10th overall qualifying of the 12 finalists, 63.32 meters. A great achievement by Samantha Hall. And as the late Tillamook Cook always said, we have to put the field in track and field. And certainly we have turned the corner. We have lost a couple of our superior athletes in the field events to Turkey. But, as they say in the NFL, not for long when an athlete goes down, or in this instance, we have lost some athletes because they have changed allegiance. It's the next man up. It's an opportunity for someone else. So we are looking forward to Samantha Hall's performance in the final. It just takes one big throw, folks, and that could really upset the apple cart. Good luck to Samantha. Not so much though for Akeelia Smith, not so much luck, I mean, for Akeelia Smith. She was 26th overall of the 34 competitors, 6.34 meters in the women's long jump qualifying. She qualified 13th in her qualifying flight, Group A, and a little bit disappointing, I believe. I was actually looking for Akeelia to at least get to the final. It's funny, I wasn't looking for Samantha Hall to qualify for the final of the women's discus, but she did. I was looking for Akeelia Smith to get to the final of the women's long jump, but perhaps it was an off day for her. She will be back. And Adele Tracy in the women's 1500 meters, a bit of bad luck. She did explain, I was really wondering why she was performing so poorly, and she did explain that a bag of luggage fell on her foot arriving at the Tokyo International Airport. And so for her to go on out and perform with that, she almost withdrew from the event, but that would jeopardize her performing in the 800 meters. Now, she could very well withdraw from the 800, but at this late stage, per rule, if she had withdrawn from the 1500 meters, she might have been asked by the organizers to also pull out of the meet in total. So at least she now has the option to run in the 800, and that depends on the medical attention and care she's getting and how she responds, how she recovers. It's a short time in between competition, and of course, she has to train daily. So we wish Adele Tracy all the best. Now, let's quickly take a look at the women's 100 meters. The Jamaicans competing there, Tina Clayton, Sharika Jackson, and the imperious Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. They all went through to the semifinals. Let's just say that, with the athletes posing the biggest threat. Melissa Jefferson Wooden of the US, she won her heat in 10.99. Tina Clayton also won her heat in 11.01. Quite easy. Melissa Jefferson Wooden looked good, but I thought traveled a little bit too much for too long. You really want to reserve your energy, folks, because remember, the final is tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, and the semifinal and the final is run 2 hours apart. It is not easy. Um, it's easier today than the days when it were 4 rounds back in 2008 in Beijing. And so they have it a little easier, but still it's quite a task. Sharika Jackson was second in her heat 3, 11.04. She had an explosive start, looked very good. I'm happy with Sharika. My only concern with Sharika is sometimes she seems a little bit oblivious of what is happening around her. She shut it down as she should, and Sha'Carri Richardson ran past her at the wire. 11.04, Sha'Carri's personal best for the season. Of course, she can go much faster. Don't discount Sha'Carri. She tends to bubble to the boil. Julian Alfred, what can I say? She looked spectacular. Her 10.93, literally jogging, was unbelievable. And it reminded me somewhat of Usain Bolt's quarterfinal run back in Beijing in 2008 when he ran 9:92 in the quarterfinal. That was the second of 4 rounds. And, that was when I knew that Usain would have won. I am not ready to make that declaration for Julian Alfred, except to say she is the one to beat. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce was second in her heat 7 behind Mary-Josie Tallou-Smith, the two veterans. They both know what they're doing. They're into the final. Daryl Neita, 10.94, also looked good and is one to note. So in the women's semifinals, in the first semifinal, Sharika Jackson will run from lane 7. They're running in lanes 2 through 9. She'll be in lane 7. I expect her to go through along with Daryl Neita, but look for Sha'Carri Richardson and Mary-Josie Tallou-Smith. They could cause some separation with the top 2 automatic qualifying spots. The second semifinal, no question, Julian Alfred will make it to the final. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce should go through with her. It's not too much of a competitive semifinal here for Shelly-Ann. Luckily, Twanisha Terry is one to note. And the third semifinal, I'm looking for Tina Clayton to advance along with Melissa Jefferson Wooden, but Dosso of Italy and Dina Asher-Smith should make it interesting. So my 6 automatic qualifiers I'm looking for the women's semifinals, which will take place at 7:20 Sunday morning, are Neita, Jackson, Alfred, Fraser-Pryce, Clayton, and Jefferson Wooden. Now, the men's heat, I was actually shocked. I wondered if a parachute was holding Oblique Seville in the starting blocks because he just got up like 2 steps behind the rest of the field. Because of his raw speed, he managed to qualify in the top 3, 9.93, behind Leot Lele of South Africa in a PB 987, Seville 9.93, but Seville is a 9.81 runner. In the second heat, Kishane Jackson was just outstanding, 9.95, easy in complete control. Noah Lyles won heat 3 ahead of Akeem Blake, 10.07. So the 3 Jamaicans here in the first 3 heats were already through. Kenneth Bednarik, who's a 9.79 man, ran 10.01 to capture his heat. He was very easy as well. And Letsile Tibogo of Botswana, 10.07. Those are the runners that you have to keep an eye on. So the men's semifinals, which will take place at 7:45 Sunday morning. In the first semifinal, they're running out of lanes 2 through 9. Akeem Blake is in lane 4, Lyles in lane 5. I expect those 2 to go through, but it will not be so easy for Blake. Marcel Jacobs, an Olympic champion from Italy, Akane Simbini, and Ajayi from Nigeria should make it competitive. In the second semifinal, no question, Kishane Thompson will go through. Kenneth Bednarik and Zarnell Hughes should make it competitive for the second automatic qualifying spot. I also want to see how Kishane handles the pressure. Bednarik will pressure him because they have to kind of run flat out to ensure that they qualify unless they are so far ahead looking around that they take it easy. I just want to be satisfied how Kishane Thompson handles pressure. And the third semifinal, I'm looking for Oblique Seville to correct whatever happened with his start in the quarterfinal. Tebogo of Botswana will make Seville go along with Leo Lettler of South Africa and Israel Okan of Nigeria. So my six automatic qualifiers I'm looking for are Lyles, Blake with an asterisk, Kishane Thompson, Kenneth Bednarik, and Oblique Seville and Tebogo of Botswana. An asterisk beside Blake because it's going to be competitive with Simbini, Jacobs, and Ajayi. So the finals will take place Sunday morning. The women's final will be at 9:13 Eastern Standard Time. The men's final at 9:20. I will be right back after that event to take a look and review what happened. Until then, be well and be safe.